Is there a structured approach to developing spontaneous speaking skills in a foreign language? That's a good question, isn't it? A lot of people seem to be looking for exactly that. When I say people, I mean language learners. They want to be authentic, free, fluent. They want to express themselves naturally and effortlessly in a foreign language. It sounds like that's what everybody wants. And yet, so few people actually know how to go about it and how to develop the skill. And even fewer people know how to practice that and how to achieve that. Why is it so difficult? When we talk about developing spontaneous speaking skills in a foreign language, we're talking about spontaneous expression of self. That includes your mental state, that includes your emotions, that includes your identity, your personality, your character, your wants, your needs, your mood in the moment. And no one can standardize that. There's no structure on how to be you. There's no template. And even though everyone's looking for the same thing, no two people are the same. I might give two students exactly the same practice routine or exactly the same exercise. I'm going to ask each of them to do this exercise slightly differently so that we can address their specific individual needs. If you have been practicing English for a lot of years, if you feel that you've been practicing for so long and you've achieved so much, yet you feel like you need more and you're not really sure how to achieve more, you're probably doing the thing that a lot of people who come to my coaching programs in my community do as well. They don't know any other way to practice. So they keep repeating the things that they know, the things that they see other people do. They know how to watch YouTube lessons. They know how to hire a teacher. They know how to sign up for an online course. They know how to get ready for an exam. Yet none of this is interesting anymore because we're going for full, authentic self-expression in a foreign language, which means we need to learn to be spontaneous. We need to learn to be fluent in the language of feelings and emotions, which means we need to commit to understanding ourselves deeply and intimately so we can express what it is that we understand about ourselves, about our emotions, about what we're experiencing at the moment. And you go ask random people in the street what their favorite movie is and why it is their favorite movie or how they spend their weekend, and people don't really know what to say. They know how to talk about work. They have no idea how to talk about themselves. And this is why so many dread small talk or situations where they have to share something personal. And I'm talking about people who use the English language at work or people who decided to relocate and start a new life from scratch in a different country where everyone speaks English. I'm talking about people whose children already speak better English than themselves and they want to actively participate in the life of their children. They want to teach them important life skills that their children understand English a lot better than the language that their parents grew up speaking. And you feel like you're missing out because you don't understand your kid. If you've never been in this situation, you can't relate. I know a lot of people like this. And trust me, they feel desperate. And these people are very motivated to continuously advance their speaking and understanding skills. They want to understand their children. So how do you develop spontaneous speaking skills in a structured way? First of all, let's talk about structure. Most people, when they hear structure, imagine a spreadsheet or a table of contents, something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a timeline. So they know exactly when they're going to begin, and they have certain expectations relative to when it's going to end. This is the first myth or the first disappointment, because developing spontaneous speaking skills in another language is hard work that has no end. And this needs to be understood, accepted, digested, processed. This work and this practice requires an incredibly deep commitment to excellence and to understanding yourself so deeply and intimately that you actually know what it means to express yourself. Because how do you know what it means to sound like you in a foreign language if you have no idea what you actually are and what you want people to see when you speak to them in a foreign language. A lot of people sound the same way when they speak in a foreign language. Whatever it is they're talking about, they can be talking about their weekend, or they're talking about work, or they're talking about their children. They sound exactly the same. They sound like a person who's trying hard to sound correct, or they sound like a person who gave up trying because they tried so hard. So a lot of immigrants will stick to a circle of people they know. These people already understand them. These people do not judge their accent. These people know them well enough. They have shared interests. They talk about the same things over and over again. And a lot of things do not need to be spelled out anymore because everybody understands what's going on. They finish each other's sentences. And they have to stick to this small circle of people because everyone outside of this circle doesn't really understand them. It still feels very scary to go to a job interview and meet new people, to go to networking events, to go to conferences, to speak up at work, to do sales calls. It is still difficult, even after you've lived in an English-speaking country for decades. And when you choose to stick to a small circle of people who already understand you, who do not demand the best from you, they don't care if you improve your English or if your English stays the same forever. They're going to love you. And that's a beautiful thing about these connections and this friendship. But at the same time, these people are depriving themselves of so many other opportunities and growth. Because what they're committing to is this small group of people. They're committing to no growth. And deep inside, it's painful. I told you that we're going to define the word structure. Structure is something that everybody expects, but at some point, everyone starts hating it. You can't do a textbook forever. You can't do the same program forever. You can't go back to the same online course forever. You can't learn grammar forever. If you're watching this video, you have probably done all of it. You have done language courses. You have learned English grammar. And I don't think there is a lot more for you to learn about the English language. You already know quite enough. The question is, what am I not doing? Or what am I doing that's not quite enough for me to make progress and get beyond this advanced English, which is advanced sounds fancy, but it's so not enough for the real world tasks. Let me give you an example so you understand what I mean. Ben loves music. Ben also likes smoking. So recently, Ben started working with a life coach, and life coach gave him an unusual task. He told Ben to use a certain structure when he smokes. The coach told Ben to start smoking differently. Now, Ben needs to smoke one cigarette every 20 minutes for at least 4 weeks in a row. By the end of the day, the coach counts how many cigarettes Ben smoked, and he is not allowed to miss even one. He has an alarm going off every 20 minutes, and as soon as the alarm goes off, he needs to smoke a cigarette. How soon do you think Ben will start hating smoking? Do you think he's going to last 4 weeks? Everything that we do for pleasure, and whatever it is, smoking, listening to music, dancing, reading, daydreaming, drinking, eating, sleeping during the day, of course. There's no structure to it. We do it when we feel like it. And as soon as we try to structure our experience with the things that we actually enjoy, and a lot of people love smoking, we start hating the thing. And when people do the same thing with their English routine, they get exactly the same results. They want it badly. They want someone to show them the structure. And structure is not a bad thing in and of itself. It's when you have to follow someone else's structure to the letter. This is when it gets so out of hand that you start hating it, because this is when it starts being annoying. You start hating the structure because you don't want to do what they say you need to do. I mean, you can do that for a certain amount of time, but not forever, right? Not forever. We don't want to do this forever. And If we go back to the idea that developing your spontaneous speaking skills in a foreign language is hard work with no end, if I agree that this commitment to improving my English skills and to speaking English every single day, this commitment is not something I'm going to break. This commitment is forever. I will be doing this every single day for the rest of my life, which means I agree that there's going to be no end. If I really, really understand this, if I let this idea sink in, then I need to find a way to make my practice enjoyable because I know it's not going to end. This is why I speak about joy so often. A practice routine needs to be enjoyable because it is sustainable only if it brings you joy. It starts with a desire. And the desire to build a career or to raise your child better or to have a great intimate relationship with your significant other who happens to be a native speaker, or you have this intrinsic desire for mastery. If this desire led you to making a decision and you are committed to your practice, you are committed to improvement, and you are the person who actually, like myself, finds a lot of freedom in this commitment because you don't need to run anywhere anymore. You find a lot of freedom in this commitment. And the question is, how do I practice so that every day I get better? So that every year I speak better, I sound better, I express myself better. I have better relationships with people. I connect with others better. I understand others better. I know myself better. How do we practice then? A lot of people, when they start working with me or when they join the community calls or my group coaching sessions, they're a little taken aback by the fact that they don't see any structure anywhere. And the structure that I use and I apply in my coaching is very simple. It's the structure of transformation. This is how you speak today, and this is your norm. That's normal for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be speaking this way. This is how you speak on autopilot. We look at how you speak. We identify the patterns that prevent you from sounding better, the patterns that you can't identify yourself. You don't see what you don't see. I can see your autopilot mode. You can't. That's why you need a coach. That's why you need feedback from another human who has more experience practicing the same skill that you want to master. We identify the patterns that you're not aware of. We create practice routines to help you change those patterns. First, they will help you see them, understand them, and replace them with new patterns that must become stronger than your older patterns. So we want to bring the light of consciousness to the things that we are not conscious of today. Here we do a lot of self-correction work. And the result of the self-correction work is that you say the same thing you said here differently without the patterns that we heard over here. You can hear your own transformation, how you said it before the self-correction work and how you said it after the self-correction work. This structure inspires a lot of people because they can see what they can sound like and they actually like it. And it inspires them because it gives them clarity over the things that they should actually do. They no longer need to go on YouTube and try to find this something. I don't really know what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for something for advanced learners that will help me make more progress. Like people have no idea what they're looking for, and they get immersed in entertaining content from people who seem or who look like they know better. Now they know that they can focus and spend their time doing exactly this and get very, very specific results. And a practice routine is not something you should do forever. The practice routines that I design take between 7 and 30 days. And you can see very tangible improvements within that period of time. So this is the structure. How you speak today, this is your norm. Identify the patterns that you're not aware of. Doing the practice to become aware of those, applying the knowledge that you have received about yourself, not about English, about yourself, and watching yourself sound and speak differently. It sounds easy. It's not so easy to do because we're not learning anything about the English language anymore. Look, of course, if you're someone who's struggling with the English articles, or if you're someone who always confuses the verb forms, we will look into that. But it's simple. This is a blind spot. You just go and do a couple of exercises, you drill this grammar rule. and you're done. You probably already know this. You've seen it before. You've heard it before. And if there's something you truly do not know, it's still very easy to fix. And when I say very easy, I mean this. It's very easy compared to identifying and wanting to identify the patterns in yourself that prevent you from moving on to a new level. And the patterns I'm talking about are inattentiveness. I don't want to see every word. I don't want to hear every word. I prefer to play the guessing game. Immediate interpretation of what people said instead of actual listening to what people said. Sending their own mental images. Being careless with one's words. Impatience. Not having enough patience for yourself and for other people. The nervousness and the anxiety that you get when you're struggling to express yourself and the words are not coming to you. They're simply not. And the feeling you get is that no one will have the patience to wait for you to find the right words. So you prefer to shut down. Another pattern can be hurry. You hurry so much that you can't even hear yourself. Another pattern can be constant distractions. A person simply doesn't know how to focus and how to concentrate. Another pattern can be a disgust that they have developed for discipline. They hate discipline and they think discipline is punishment. If I'm asking them to do something every day, they experience this as punishment rather than as an opportunity to create something new. And I can go on and on and on because self-correction means you want to look at yourself and you want to look at the parts of yourself that you actually do not like very much. And that is already very painful. That also means you have to be ready and willing to receive feedback. And then you have to do something with all this information and you have to ask for help, which a lot of people find very difficult to do because you can't do this work alone. You absolutely need other people. And that's why you don't need a textbook, because what you're going to find in the textbook is everything but not your pattern that you need to fix. You're going to find everything but not the words that you actually need to learn to say differently. That's why the way I coach is so different. To practice spontaneous speaking skills, we'll look at your spontaneous situations. You can tell me anything, literally. And that's why I tell people, come unprepared. And when you tell me anything, your patterns are going to show themselves. I don't care what it is that you say. I'm going to hear the pattern. I'm going to listen to you because a pattern is something that repeats. But if I've already known you for a long time, whatever you say is going to show me if a pattern is still there or if you're improving, or if it's changing, or if it's transitioning or transforming into something new. And when I say anything, I mean literally anything. You don't need to prepare. You don't need to control yourself because you can control yourself every minute of every day. I teach patience and presence. You need to learn to be present with yourself. But when we want to improve your spontaneous speaking skills, we need to look at how you behave and how you speak when you must or need to be or want to be spontaneous. This becomes our textbook. This becomes our curriculum. This becomes our exercise. Looking at what you do when you don't control yourself, when you don't need to control your words. Understanding why you do what you do. Understanding the consequences of what you do for yourself and for others. And then we design a few practice routines to help you move in a different direction, sometimes in a completely opposite direction, sometimes in a slightly different direction. So you can see and hear your own transformation. And this is what motivates people more than anything. Watching themselves on video, seeing themselves from a different angle, hearing themselves sound and speak differently, watching their own videos from a few months ago and realizing how much they've progressed. This is something you can't get anywhere. There's no exam on this. There's no textbook on this. And it's hard work that you do internally. And once you've done it, now that you know what you're capable of, it makes no sense to stop. If you want to improve your spontaneous speaking skills, my advice is that you get someone to help you. Someone who can really, really listen to you. They need to see you without being in the situation with you, without being immersed in your experience. They need to see what you can see about yourself. They need to be present with you as you speak. At the same time, they need to be able to give you objective feedback about what you say and how you say it. And this is why so many students of mine find it mind blowing that I can write down exactly what they said, word by word, and that I remember all their patterns and all their mistakes, even if we have to talk about the situations and the sessions that we had years ago. I remember everything. That I guess this is a skill that I didn't really want to develop, but it happened so that I developed it. You need someone who can really listen, someone who can pay attention to every detail, somebody who can give back to you what you actually said without judging you for what you said, someone who's not making assumptions, someone who can give you the facts. This is what you said. Why do you think you keep saying that? Someone who will help you, support you, guide you, and help you with providing very, very specific exercises that will work for you. When you have no idea where to begin, you need some certainty and you need clarity. And the type of certainty you can begin with is one exercise a day. That's good enough. One exercise a day. So you can focus on that exercise, on that pattern, and on seeing the transformation of that pattern. You don't need to prepare your words. You need to invest in the art of preparing yourself. And that means learning to be present with yourself, with other people, with everything that's happening around you, with everything that's happening within you, with other people, and being quite relaxed about it. Even though you're paying attention to everything and you're aware of so many things, including every word you're saying, it feels like you're listening to yourself speak in slow motion. This is how I'm experiencing this right now. Even though you're paying attention to so many things, you're feeling quite relaxed about it and you don't have to tense up. You don't have to control what you're saying. You just have to watch your patterns unfold in front of your eyes. You just need to watch yourself speak. You need to watch your experience. I can't find other words to explain how I'm experiencing this, but it takes a lot more than mental and intellectual work. All my coaching clients must, if they want to work with me, must work with their body, must do physical exercise for at least 20 minutes every single day. It's a requirement. 20 minutes of physical exercise until you break a sweat. Or you have to do a very complicated move that demands complete concentration. Like you have to be doing something so difficult that you literally can't think about anything else but this move. Maybe some asanas from yoga. Maybe you do some mobility work, maybe horse riding, whatever it is, but something that requires a lot of your concentration. But you need to train your body. A lot of the things that I'm talking about cannot be experienced or understood by the mind alone. And it's your mind that wants to change. It's very understandable. Your mind wants to be free and spontaneous and it wants to learn fast. It's very impatient, but it's your body that must change. I'm going to say it again. It's your mind that wants to change very much and very fast, but it's your body that must change. And your body will take a lot more time to change. How you speak, how you move your mouth, how you move your jaw, how you use your body language, how your voice sounds in a foreign language. All these things that I have just mentioned are about your body. And your body always takes longer. Your mind can understand something within seconds. Your body needs a lot longer to change. So if we're not including the body in the work, it's going to take forever and the work is going to feel fruitless. If we include the body, you're going to understand so many concepts so much faster. I hope I managed to answer the question, even though it wasn't a very structured answer. I understand this, but there's no one structured answer. At least I don't have one right now. It's flowing, it's changing, it's very flexible, just like life. It requires a lot of attention. It requires a lot of nurturing. It requires a lot of love and it requires a lot of compassion. There's no timeline. But if you practice every day, you're going to get there sooner and you're not going to regret the days that you didn't practice. And if you start today, a year from now, you're going to sound very different. And if you're not going to practice for a year from now, you're going to be at the same place and that's going to suck. I hope this video was useful and it gave you some food for thought. If you want to practice being spontaneous, you need to be spontaneous. You need quality feedback and high quality presence from someone who can help you see what you don't see. Because if you continue being spontaneous and continue speaking the way you already know how to speak, all you're going to do is maintain the same level that you already have. But I guess you're here, you're watching this video because you want more. You're welcome to join my community of practice, a place for people who made a decision to commit to more. I'll see you there.